Good day and welcome to today's lesson. I'm Mrs. Swart and we're going to look at one word for a phrase or one word for many words. So we're going to try and find just one word to replace a lot of words and find that we're more economical with our language, and that's something exciting to look at. So with collective nouns, we look at things that say there are a lot of ships. We call it a fleet. It has a name. It's a fleet of ships. Fish. This is really something cute. Is that fish could be a school of fish or a shoal of fish, and both are correct. So that shows us that sometimes there's more than one possible answer. It isn't necessarily only the one answer that we have here. Remember as well that when we use collective nouns, they can also describe more than one group. Let's have a look at this one. Sheep, a flock of sheep. Birds, also a flock. So we have a flock of birds and a flock of sheep, and both are correct. But now this is where the fun starts. It doesn't mean that because we are using these words that they are limited to those specific items, because we have a flock of birds. But when we start breaking these items into individual groupings like geese or peacocks, then suddenly we have what we call a gaggle of geese. We have a pride of peacocks. But now there's something strange going on, because pride of peacocks, but also a pride of lions. And that is to show you that it's not so cut and dry as you think. If you go and look up some of these, you'll find that there's some very interesting groupings. A parliament of owls, for instance. And it's fascinating to see that there are such interesting links between these things, and that you can actually replace a lot of with a specific group. It's also going to improve your economy of words when you write something. It's going to also make your writing more colorful and exciting. One word for many. You see, I've drawn a line through a phrase here, and the reason is I want you to take note that we're using more than one word. If someone can throw his voice, he's a ventriloquist. A place where you park your car is a garage. When we look at pens and pencils and books and rulers and erasers, we speak of stationery with an E. Why with an E? If you look at the stationery, think of pen, it's written with an E. Stationery, when we speak of pens and pencils and books, that is also written with an E. But a car, any vehicle, standing still, not moving, it's stationary, it's not moving. So look at the A in stationary and think of a car. It's also written with an A. And that way you're going to find that you remember it easier. You think of someone who is educating children is a teacher. Where children receive an education is a school. They might also receive an education in the classroom. I love to think of things like, you take athletics. What is a grouping when we think of athletics? We think of running 100 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters, field items, high jump, long jump. We think of discus, javelin. All of that is athletics. So you see, all of these different things are linked together with one word. If you think of your mother going out to go and buy bread and milk and going to buy food the end of the month, what do we call that? Groceries. And that is how simple it is. You have such a wide vocabulary of it, you already know these things, but you often think you don't know. And that is something that we have to start forgetting about. Forget that you think, oh, I don't know enough. You know a lot. If you think of anything that you want to do, if you go to a place where they're going to be swimming different races, it's called a gala. And that is how easy this is. When we think of the words of a song, it's lyrics. If we think of people making music, it could be a band, it could be an orchestra, people singing in a group, it's a choir. So there's so much going on. And something interesting, you know that when we think of people who are at an event, that could have different names. If we think of people at an athletics event, we speak of them as spectators. But if we think of people going to church, we think of a congregation. We can also think of, say, of these fantastic shows that we see where we have rap artists or other famous people singing and performing. Then we'd speak of maybe a crowd that is there. Then when we get to the following one, someone who's preaching or delivering a sermon in a church, could be a pastor, it could be called a priest, a reverend, a minister. There are so many possibilities. And you must remember that it's not limited to just one. There are quite a few opportunities to broaden your spectrum, to realize that you know so much more. So I'd like you to go out this week and really try and find out, when you look at something, what it is that you would call it as a group. You think of things like puppies. They're called a litter of puppies. And that is the group of a lot of puppies together. So go out there and try and see if you can get this right. Then what you're going to do next is you're going to try the quiz, okay? So you're going to click on this link, you're going to do the quiz and see how well you can do in it, how well you can perform. You see there I said how well you can do in it is how well you can perform. That is, of course, also one word for a whole phrase. There's also the QR code on the next slide, and that is where you can get to the link and you'll be able to make sure that you try this quiz. It's a very exciting part of the work because it opens so many opportunities for you. So when you take your English and you practice it, I'm going to ask you to really try your best. Make sure that you use it to the best of your ability and that you try and find out as many collective words as you can, collective nouns, or else you can just say one word for many. You go to a doctor, you go to a dentist. The man who fixes your teeth is a dentist. When I am ill and my body is in pain, I go to the man or the woman who's going to see what's wrong with me, and they're going to give me medicine to nurse me back to health. That's how simple it is. I hope you enjoy this quiz. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.